Hello, everybody. So, right now we have all of the controls created. They are color coordinated based off of whether they're center controls, right or left. And now we need to have them start moving things because right now they are not moving anything. And we want to make sure that each joint is doing the proper thing. So, like this joint, for example, we'll probably want it, or this control, not joint, but this control, we want it to be able to move around in all axes and then rotate. But these center ones, the way I'm going to set it up right now, we're only going to want to rotate them. We don't want to move them because they're going to be an FK setup. I mean, with more advanced rigs, we could make it where we could move each one of those. That could be kind of interesting, or we can leave it on. I don't know. We can experiment with that, I guess. But right now, basically, we want it to be set up where we can move the appropriate joints. Right now, also the controls are not parented to anything. So, like if I rotate this, the joint is, I mean, the control was not moving the way it should be. So let's look at how we would do that. So let's look at the center of gravity, the cog first. So what we're going to need to do is do a parent constraint in this case. So let's go to rigging. Let's expand this all the way so that we can see everything. So constrain. So first we need to select the target to be constrained and the object to be constrained, which I did it backwards. So the target is going to be the controls and the object to be constrained is the joint. So then we're going to do a parent constraint. Oops, constraint parent. Let's look at the option docs. So we've can try maintain offsets and then apply. So we can see that works. That's fine because we froze and we parented everything exactly in the same spot. So it's not going to shift or anything on us. Okay, and then now if we select the control, you see that we can actually move the control and it moves the rest of the skeleton. Okay, so, oops, I misspelled toe. There we go. We can look over here. We can say that is a parent constraint that is created. And over here, let's create a new function that's going to be running. So create controls. After we create the controls, we're going to parent controls. Over here, we're going to define parent controls. And we're going to have a mc dot parent constraint, and maybe let's call this constrain controls. So I'm going to copy this and paste it over that so that way it's named correctly. And then I want to look at the command documentation. And let's look down here. So we could see we have parent constraint, target target an object to be constrained. So that's what we can do. Here we have multiple things being constrained. Let's see, do we have an ability to name it? We do. Okay, cool. So, and then we can do different things. So basically we just need it in quotes. So here, let's go. We can start off with the master control. Or not the master control, but the cog. So that's going to be the target. And then object to be constrained is going to be the hips here. And then let's name it. Equals C cog CTRL this is a parent constraint, so I'm going to say parent constraint. Let's give ourselves a little bit of space for better organization. And then let's clear our scene. And then let's try this again. Create skeleton, create rig. And then if we select this control, it is parent constrained to that. That is great. Okay. So moving up the chain, we're going to have orient constraint for the lower waist. So this is an orient constraint. And actually, another thing in the settings here, I want to make sure maintain offset. So MO for maintain offsets, it's Boolean. So we want to make sure it is false on here. So let's expand this really quick. I'm going to say comma MO equals false. There you go. Don't know why I have so many spaces. There we go. Okay, so the next one up the list was lower waist, and we have the control right here. And then it is going to be controlling the lower waist here. And then name. Just going to steal this really quick. And then underscore orient constraint. And that needs to be n equals, so that way we know its name. And then maintain offset equals false. Okay. So that will be that one. Then we have the waist control, which is going to be pretty much the same as this one. So I'm going to copy that, thing is that we're going to get rid of the lower part. So oops, that's not what I want. I want this one. Just double checking that it is named exactly the same, which it is. Okay. And maintain offset stuff, waste, cool. So then I'd go through and repeat that process. So this is a parent constraint. Going up the chain, that waste is going to be an orient constraint. This is going to be an orient constraint, which is the waist. Then the lower chest, the sternum, the upper chest, the neck, the lower neck, the neck, and the head. Those are all going to be orient constraints. Here on the hand, this is going to be a parent constraint, but it is going to be onto the IK handle. So this control is what is going to be, actually it's going to be a little bit trickier, so we're going to want to make sure that we do that separately. Then the foot is going to be kind of the same way we're going to do the hand, and then the ball of the foot and the toe of the foot is going to be orient constraints. Although looking at what we got set up right here, just because we're doing FK, we're not doing a reverse foot right now, I am going to remove the toes. What I'll do is set it up as comments for now. That way it's not adding it in. We'll just do an orient constraint on here. So what I'm going to do is pause the video. You guys it'll be a quick jump for you, but I'm going to go ahead and do all of the orient constraints for the spine. I'm also going to do the orient constraints for the clavicles and the ball of the foot, and then we'll go over how to do the foot and the hand control, because that's going to be slightly different. So let me pause the video. Okay, so I went through and I have a little bit of an issue right here when I created the skeleton right now. The script is fine here. I want to maintain offsets. We can kind of force it to work by turning the maintain offsets true. But we're basically with these controls here, you can see that it will rotate fine and work properly once we get it set up. The problem is that if we go to object level for the move, you can see that the X is pointed this way, and that's it didn't reset for us when we were doing the freeze transformations, because we had it where we can potentially get the freeze transformations turned off on the rotation. So if we look over here on the CC command right here, we have trans and then rotate. So we have quite a few of them that are false, and that's what's causing the issue. So if we were to turn these true, I'm gonna just copy this and then paste it on each one of these. So we probably don't need those commands if we're gonna have everything double true, except for something like this. So I'm gonna keep it on there for cases where I need to make sure that I don't do it. Everything else looks fine with the true and true. Okay, so the orientation might be off now, but we can fix that as well. Here, so we can see that the rig didn't get mixed up. The only problem is that the control is not aiming the way that we need it to aim. And that we have the command here for the axis. Let's find that. So this, actually, let's double check because there's two. That's offset. The direction. So this one right here is what we need to adjust. So the cog looks like it is in the correct direction. Then over here, we're switching over to 1. If we bring that to 0 and do this as 1, see if I double click here. Nope. So I'm going to copy this and replace that for all these center joints. Everything else is already set there. Okay, so let's clear the scene here and try this again. Create skeleton, create rig, and hopefully it should be looking like it is correct. So for the most part, it looks correct. I would say that the head is in the wrong direction and the upper chest. So we can fix those really quick. I mean, it is in the right direction. We just want to switch it to negative. So the head, let's make that negative, and then the upper chest, we'll make that negative. Okay, and then let's create all of this and see how it looks like. So you can see that it is working right. We can leave this. I mean, we could adjust it with the offset now if we wanted to, because we basically want to rotate it kind of 90 degrees, but where the offset really just moves it. If I went to F8, took all of these, and then rotated it, what would you need? So we could rotate it, but I'm just going to leave it the way it is right now. It's just the angle that it's coming in because it's got a angle shift that's going between the two, and I'd like it to kind of blend between the two, where this one is and where this one is. But I think what we have right now is good enough, and then the user can just take these and adjust it however they want. So just F8, and then they can, like for me, I would probably take these points and kind of like bring them up, so that way it kind of encompasses more of the head. Bring these forward. Something kind of like that, but to add that in the auto rig, it wouldn't be practical. But for a user to go in and kind of customize it at the last step, that's fine. Probably like push out the space a little bit so it doesn't go into the head, but just to kind of show you what I would want to do, but I'd do that with the points, not actually scaling. Something like that, so that way we could select it and then modify it. And then the chest, like I said, just rotate it a little bit so it's not at such an abrupt angle as everything else. Because if you look at it here, it's fine. It's just that the neck comes out in an angle. Maybe it's okay. I don't know. Also, I have other controls that I would probably update it with in the future, because I have things like a box control. So if I make it bigger, I can use that for like the chest and the hips, or I can use that for the head. There's different options. Also, the master control, I would do something like the quad control that we have here. So that way you know that you can move it. So I have some custom controls again in a previous video that I worked on that you guys can check out. It's on my YouTube channel. But let's take a look at doing the head, because everything else here, at least with the, as far as, did we do the feet? We did not do the feet. So, because the feet's going to be the same issue as the other one. But we got the toes working. That is great. So we want to make sure that we have the hands and feet that we need to do now. So it's going to be really similar to what we have going on right now, except that we're also going to need a point constraint. So the orient constraint is going to be built the same way. I'm going to copy one of these really quick. So the orient constraint is going to be for the foot. Let's find the foot. And then let's rename. Let's make this L for left first. Copy this, paste it here. And then the left foot is actually going to be the left ankle. There we go. Copy this, paste it. And this is just going to be the right side. So let's switch it over to R instead of L. Everything else should be the same. Okay, so that gives me the right and left foot for the ankle, and we can do the wrist as well. So let's copy this one. Paste. And then wrist. Oops, not there, there. And then copy this. That's going to be replacing that part for the name. And then the wrist. Joint. There you go. Copy this. And set it up for the right side by changing all the L's to R's. Okay, now we have all of those set up. Now we're going to need the point constraint. So let's copy all of this, since we know it is going to be all of these items here, the controls. This is all going to be fine the same. This is going to switch over to a point constraint. So let's copy that and paste it over here. So we're doing point constraints instead of orient constraints. We're doing all of the same controls. This is going to also be switched over to point. And then the object that we want to do the point constraint to is the IK handle. So here, got the left IK handle, the left, oops. So that should be the left leg. It goes to the foot, and then the left arm goes to the wrist. And then I basically just copy these over, except that they're going to be right. Okay, so let's clear this out and see if it works. Save the script before I do something. Create the skeleton, create the rig. There you go. So let's see if this works now. We can see that we can move the arm, and we can move the wrist independently, and the feet here in the back should work the same way. We can control that. Okay, so that is working properly. The next steps that we're going to want to do is make sure that all of these controls are parented to the proper thing, so that way if I rotate this, like, the rest of the body moves with it in the proper order. So that is what we're going to be working in the next video. See you there.